Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spread the Love. I'm going to be joined by Kitty Richardson tonight, who is an old friend from school, but who's also, like so many of my mates, doing their own thing and creating some music, which is awesome. And we're going to be chatting about her releases, any upcoming projects, all of that jazz. I'm very excited because it's kind of a nice thing for me because I get to sit down and chat to some people that I've not seen Kitty in nearly a year, which is madness. So I'll add her in and we can have a chat. Here we go. Thank you again for joining. I hope you're enjoying this series. Don't know how long I'll do it for, but we'll see. Hello, Kitty.
Hello. Oh my God, this is crazy. This
How
is
are
so
you?
cool. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for coming on. Yeah,
Yeah. Long
it's kind
time
of
no see.
surreal. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a weird platform to be like seeing each other for like the first time in yonks.
Yeah, because it's like in front of people, which
I
is
know.
strange. But
But
yeah,
how have you been?
I've been good. I've been juggling my everything that I'm doing. I
Mm.
am too busy, and obviously I'm trying to get the music kind of rolling. So it's tough, but that's the way of an upcoming artist, I suppose. You know how it
Exactly.
is. You know the hustle.
Yeah, you got to, it is ridiculous the amount of just time that you spend doing stuff that like isn't even music. It's just like commenting on someone's post to make sure that you're engaging with,
I
stuff
know.
like
Well, I mean, okay, but you really are like killing the game. Like,
that.
seriously, I'm so blown away by everything that you do. You literally, you're like, I'm like, this is the content. Like, this is, it's coming from all these different areas, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, thanks, Kitty. I appreciate it. I'm glad it's showing. But yeah, this series is kind of it's gone really well, and I'm glad that I've had a chance to do something a bit different and chat to people. So,
Yeah.
if people don't know you, who are you? Explain yourself. What kind of music do you make?
That's a great question. I mean, the latter, I know I can answer the first bit very certainly, but yeah, no, I am Kitty. I am a music student at the University of Leeds, focusing on composition, and the kind of music I make is all sorts. I would say that I stick mainly to acoustic pop. I definitely think it's pop. It's difficult to say, because pop is such a wide genre. And so I'm like, oh, I'm a pop artist, but I mean, what does that mean? Like, you're not telling me anything about your music. So yeah, I mean, I kind of do all different. My main focus is melodies, and I know that sounds strange, but the kind of the poppy melodies, chord sequences in all form of instrumentation and timbres, like anything that I really like vibe with. But then I suppose the basics of it, the foundation of it, it's pop.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the kind of the influence and the precision of like the melodies and stuff because it's really catchy. That's the main
Yes.
thing that I've got from it. It's like I've been listening to it and I can't. It's just I can't get it out of my head. I keep on like walking around. I'm like, you don't need no alibi. I'm like, what?
Yes. Oh
It's
my
just
God.
coming into my head.
That
That's what you want, isn't it?
it is, and that is honestly like the biggest compliment because that is quite literally my goal, is just to get stuck in people's heads.
Exactly. I mean that, and also like that's kind of a big staple of pop music. It's that a lot of other music is, it's different, but pop music has a lot more. It's a lot catchier, and it kind of
Hmm.
that is a big purpose of pop music. It's just make you feel good and like get in your head
Yeah,
and have your little dance around the kitchen.
absolutely. And it's weird that it's like, okay, well, the reason that these chord structures or melodies are so catchy is because of classical music at the end
Mm.
of the day. And so obviously like studying composition at Leeds, which is not like, it's certainly not contemporary. Actually, that's maybe a lie, but I mean, it's not as contemporary as some other courses. but that's still okay because I am building from the same place.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to ask like how you find being kind of classically trained translates into pop music.
So I will say that the biggest difficulty I've always had is with my voice, because being classically trained and singing it, literally it's like you need to keep it all open, you need to keep it all, it doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to have a certain tone, if that makes sense. Like you are off, it's like if you think of classical singers, of course classical singers all sound slightly different, but it's classical singing is one genre of singing,
Right.
and that was the genre I fit into, like always, and it still kind of is. I've gotten a little bit better at getting a poppier tone, but in general, like my voice is classical at the end of the day. But in terms of writing, I suppose I've been writing in the pop style before I ever formally learned any theory. So, and that's, I guess, good in a way because it allowed me to go solely by my ear, which obviously is important in order to like figure out, okay, what do audiences respond well to. So I don't know what would have happened if I had like theory training before I started writing music. I guess we'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it does make it different. But you know, sometimes I sit and I'm like, I wish I had like more singing lessons because you can tell that you have so much control over your voice, you know. Like even watching, I was watching some videos on your account and it's just live takes and it's like, this sounds exactly like the final take of the song. It's mad how much control. And that's a big thing that I think a lot of singers maybe don't have, like kind of in the pop and, you know, singer-songwriter category. A lot of people don't have classical training, but that's something that, you know you're not going to wreck your voice, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and that I am thankful for that. And honestly, like at the end of the day, I'm such like a douche. Like I preach like good technique, and I'm like, Adele, sounds like you're hurting your voice. Um, but yeah, I mean, absolutely, and I wouldn't trade it. I don't think, but like for example, I think that you and I've always thought this. I think that you do a really good job of getting that like pop tone. It's like kind of that grungy tone, but then you
Right.
also like have been like classically trained, you know?
Yeah, I
And
bet see that's the thing that I struggle with like sometimes. Like I think I had a couple of lessons with our old choir teacher, Mrs. Bond, like a couple of summers ago. And I was like, wow, I
really,
don't know. I was like, wow, I do not know what I'm doing. And she was like, yeah, Charity, we need to like start from the how to breathe. So I'd like literally just hammered that into my head and that has helped so much. Like you don't realize how much of a difference it makes until you start, oh yeah, I actually do need to warm up my voice. And
yeah.
it's just expanded
Oh,
it so much.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. And I actually teach singing lessons
I
at the
saw,
moment.
yes.
And so I'm preaching all these things that were always like preached to me and stuff, which is funny.
Yeah. How
It's
is
supposed to
that
be on the
going?
side.
Is that kind of a freelance thing at the moment?
Yeah, anything to get a little bit of money. Yeah, but it's going well. I mean, luckily, like I feel like I'm in a perfect position where I'm like I don't have that many people that I teach because at the same time, as I was saying, like I'm doing that, but then I'm also doing this and that and this and that and this, and so I don't have time. I don't really have time to like have any more. Um, but it's going well. It was definitely a learning curve to learn how to teach because you can be like, okay, I know what you need to do, but how do I tell you, like how do I get this thought out in a
Yeah.
way that makes sense? And so I've like found so many different like analogies and stuff like that that it's a massive learning curve basically.
It's completely different, isn't it? And everyone has their own way of understanding it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, that's so true. Like, one thing will work for one person, and I'll explain it in one way, and they'll be like, ah, got it. And I'll explain it for another person, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, what? Um,
Oh yeah,
But
but
yeah.
that's very cool as well that you've got these kind of loads of different elements to your own music. So with your, the music you've released and stuff like that, I think ever since I've known you since school, you've always been writing music and writing songs. And so how long have you been doing it? What would you say your journey to now has been?
Oof. Whoa. Okay, well, I wrote my first song ever when I was 12. Um, and it was called The Cure. And it was
I
for,
remember it well.
yeah, it was for a charity. Oh my God, that's your name. Um, that was really fun. Yes, it was for a charity for EDS, which is a syndrome that I have, and I've just recently been diagnosed, and ha- I hadn't been able to put my emotions. I've never been good at expressing emotions ever since I was like a baby, and I didn't really know. It was a really long diagnosis, and it was a lot of doctors telling me that either I was crazy or I was making it up. And then finally I got a diagnosis, and it was just like a lot of thoughts to then like find out that there is no cure. And I was like, cool. And so I guess the way that I dealt with it was by putting it into a song. And I mean, yeah, it worked. And since then I literally, when I was younger, I used to write a lot more than I do now. I think if I was feeling literally any emotion, like my mum would tell me, like, she'd be like mad at me or like tell me to clean my room. And I'd be like, I'd write a song about it. I'm like, this isn't fair. But I will say the biggest difference between my old songs and my songs now are the absolute lack of metaphors. I don't know if you remember The Cure well enough to like like the lyrics. Oh my God, it's it's terrifying to look back on.
It's quite literal, isn't
Unbelievably literal.
it?
And my songs were like that for a very long time. And I would write a song like a day, like literally all the time.
That's great,
Until
though.
I was like, I mean, yeah, it was good until I was about 15, and then it slowed down a bit. I actually think probably because I got happier when I was 15, which is always the way. I mean, we can write the best songs when we're not happy. I mean, that's how I feel anyway. And then, yeah, I mean, I just can, I released an album, technically, I did, called Two Minds, which again was raising money for EDS. And I mean, that is, do I regret it? Yes, I do. But we've all got to like pave our way with the bad songs, you know? And this is the thing about being like a songwriter who started at 12. They're not all good. And there is stuff out on the internet that isn't good, but I like to keep it up because it shows where I've come from and just kind of the journey of it. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on.
no, I was just gonna say because it's I think it's very nice maybe for you to kind of look back on that and see how much you've grown, because this new stuff is such like super high quality, and it's really well thought out and well produced and well sung, and it's really really good music. And to kind of see the journey for yourself that you've made, I mean that must be a rewarding thing for you.
Yeah, that's true. But then I also there's that thought in the back of my mind that's like, okay, well, I'm not happy with the stuff I did 5 years ago now, so am I not going to be happy with this in 5 years?
Yeah, there's always that conundrum.
It is the conundrum.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely, because it's hard to sell, because you do things and then 5 years later you're like, why the hell did I do that? And you don't know
Exactly.
whether you're doing that now. But
Exactly.
I definitely wouldn't say so. I'll be listening to your songs in 5 years. They're good.
Oh my
They're
God.
good songs.
Oh, wow. We should get married probably. Okay. I don't know. It's like being complimented on my music. I guess it is the most important thing to me. Like, if I was not going to sugarcoat it in any way, like, I think that this is so cheesy. My sole goal in life is to write songs or write music in some capacity, not necessarily perform it, but write it. And I guess hearing that reassuring feedback, I mean, yeah, it's just it makes you just like breathe for a second, because you're like, is this crazy? Like, I'm vibing to the stuff I'm writing, but is everyone else? Yeah. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You know, it gives you a little push, and it is, you know, you are doing it for yourself, and it is a kind of a therapy and a process to write a song. But like, you know, if people like it in the end, that makes it so much better. That's, you know, you're putting it out to the world, just kind of hoping that someone listens to it and someone likes it. And, you know, it's nice to hear that, even though, you know, because a lot of the time you look on Spotify and it's like, oh, 10 listeners, and you're like, but that doesn't really mean anything. And then to hear it from an actual human being.
This is true. It's so true. It's so true. It's like, it's so much more valuable.
We've got a question from Liberty, an old school friend as well. Where can we find your music if people want to go check it out?
Well, I have a YouTube channel called Scarlet Masquerade, same as my Instagram. I am releasing an EP soon. Yeah, I don't know. George came on here. I don't know if he still is. I think he is still here. But George is my boyfriend and producer, and many other things. Like, he does a lot. So we together are currently figuring out this EP, and it should be out summertime, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the path, and I will be updating on my Instagram. I'm trying to be as active as you are. It's not going very well, but I'm talking about it on here, and then also, YouTube. That's where I upload pretty much everything. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and also the latest release, Lost in My Head. That's quite.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to them all in kind of an order from like old to new, and it's quite it's such a like an atmospheric, ethereal track compared to, you know, the kind of funky stuff before it. Do you find that, you know, you go from song to song with genres, or do you want to be a pop artist and have that as your main thing?
That song, actually, I did not write.
Right.
So I also work as a freelance singer for other people.
I see.
And that's what that was. And I think the song is great. Like, I do think the song is great. But I think that style in particular, I was like, oh, I vibe with this. Like, my voice wise, I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I needed. And I kind of wish that I had wrote it. Like, I'm like, oh, I wish I could like have this and be like, yeah, I wrote this, but I didn't. It is a great song, so of course I wish that I wrote it. But yeah, I think that genre-wise, like I said, genres are so, I don't really see genres at all. And George and I were actually talking about doing like an 80s album together, which I would love to do. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that ever happens.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I do get that kind of influence, 80s influence. I think that would suit you quite well.
I just like, that would be like, I love 80s music. I don't care. Like, I just do. Yeah, it's the best.
It's definitely something that seems to have come back in kind of modern pop music. Like,
that's true.
Dua Lipa is all 80s inspired. It's all, you know, and then it's in a club in 2021. It's like, how is this
so
happening?
True? Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think that, you know, it's like the whole trend's coming back, isn't it? Oh, I saw Jason just said that we should do an 80s. So Jason is another guy that I have done a song, actually 2 songs with, for his upcoming album.
Nice.
And I am obsessed with them. Like, I'm literally obsessed with the songs. And I don't know when that's coming out. He could probably say that. Maybe he told me.
We'll see if he comments it, yeah.
We'll see if he comments. But yeah, so a lot is happening, to be honest.
That's great. So the next EP is that's the one that we did the little art project for, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That was fun.
So that's yeah, no, that is very fun. I that was just trying to get people involved. I always want to get more people involved with my because I think my biggest philosophy in life is emphasis on like human connection and collaboration. Like that to me is the actual most important thing in life, like why I am here. And so I guess I just want to incorporate that in my music as much as possible, but I suck at teamwork. So, you know, it makes it easier just by doing something like this. And oh my God, the segments that people have sent in are just insane. Like I love literally every single one of them and they're so different and that's what I love.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's going to be so interesting to see how everyone's interpreted it differently.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Because it's just it's just a blank space for people to just doodle or do whatever the hell they want. And to put that all together, and it kind of makes it a really nice community spirit for an EP.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, I've got a few questions come up for you. I'll put them. They should be up at the bottom for you as well.
Yeah.
What instruments do you play?
What instruments do I play? Okay, well, this is a tough question. In fact, I remember when I went on my university tour of Nottingham, and because it was a one-on-one tour, and the head of music person was like, "Oh, what instruments do you play?" And I literally said nothing. I was like, I don't really play instruments, which wasn't the right thing to say. But I guess like piano. Like, I mean, I do play piano. That's what I usually use to write. And I do play piano on my tracks as well, although I prefer it if someone else played it because I'm not that good. And then like the teeniest bit of guitar, as in I can strum chords.
That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also had drum lessons, but can I play drums? No. No, I can't. But I had the lessons.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So do you normally write songs on the piano? Is that normally how they come about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've written, so actually 2 of the songs on the EP that's coming out, I wrote on guitar.
Right.
And that was fun. And it definitely, but I don't know. Oh, okay. Bye. I don't know if you get this, but when I look at a piano, it all makes sense to me. And when I look at a guitar, I'm like, okay, I understand that you're a semitone each. Like, I understand that, but I can't see things on you. I can see chords. I can see everything here. And so when I write on the guitar, I just put my fingers in random places sometimes. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. Exactly. And then that's like some of the chords that are in the songs. It's like weird.
Yeah, I think that's the funnest way to write songs is to just make up chords because, like to make them interesting, you have to use the chords that I don't know I don't know what they're called, but they're a chord of some sort. So I just have no idea what they're called, but it kind of makes it a bit more interesting for you especially it also kind of inspires your creativity when you sit down at a completely different instrument because it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do, I find it comfortable to write on the piano, but occasionally when I do pick up the guitar, like you said, it's a more thrilling experience because I don't know what's going to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Also, so with your piano, are you planning on playing something on the piano this evening?
Yeah, I
want to give us a little lowdown as to what you want to play, something, a little background to it, where we can find a song if it's a released one?
Yeah, it is not a released one, unfortunately. It's the title track of my upcoming EP. So it's called Confetti, and the EP is called Confetti. And I was thinking about it just before I came on this, actually, because I was thinking about, because I imagined that you were going to ask about the EP, and I was thinking about the inspirations for it. Every single song in the EP is inspired by a movie in some way or another.
That's cool.
And most of them, it's like a big time. So there's one song that it's literally just the name of the song that is inspired by a movie, and then the rest of like the emotions that build the song are my emotions. And like all of them have that in a little way. Like my emotions are involved a little bit. Like I wouldn't write it if my emotions weren't in some way involved. But most of them are inspired by characters' emotions. I guess that's on being autistic, you know? Like I vibe a lot more with emotions portrayed in media than my own, because a lot of the time I don't really have many. But I love to write these songs, and I get obsessed as well, which another thing. But this song in particular is inspired by The Haunting of Hill House. Have you seen it?
Yes, I
You
have.
have? Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so exciting. Oh my God, now I'm excited for you to hear it. Because I love playing this song to people who know The Haunting of Hill House. I mean, it's inspired by, if anyone else has seen it, the final scene, or not final scene, final bit where Nell's ghost is like moments just sprinkle around us like confetti.
Ah, very clever.
So that's what it's inspired by, yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to take it away?
Not
Have a
really.
listen?
If I'm being honest, no. I have never, ever, ever played through one of my songs the whole way through without messing up. So,
But, you know, it's an unreleased song. If you mess up, none of us will know.
oh, you absolutely will. You'll see my I'm just getting up the chords to try and prevent that happening, but it's still gonna happen. Okay. Oh.
Battery 40%.
Good. Okay. Right. Here we go.
Can't wait.
Life comes way too fast. I'm gonna need more time to realize that it won't last. There's something about this that seems so hard. I'm gonna need a moment to understand this moment, and it may take a lifetime to realize the moment's gone. Now it's gone. This moment, I'm gonna need a moment to understand this moment, and it may take a lifetime to realize this moment. I'm gonna need more time to say goodbye. Confetti everywhere, it's blowing through the air, I'm making up all different parts. When summer turns to spring and all the things we think become questions we're afraid to ask. Confetti everywhere, it's blowing through the air, I'm making up all different parts. When summer turns to spring and all the things we think become questions we're afraid to ask. This moment, I'm gonna need a moment to understand this moment, and it may take a lifetime to realize this moment. I'm gonna need more time to say goodbye. Life comes way too fast. I'm gonna need more time to realize that it won't last. There's something about this that seems so hard. I'm gonna need a moment to understand this moment, and it may take a lifetime before. Now it's... That's it.
That was beautiful, Kitty.
I mean, I didn't mess up.
Exactly. That was so. That made me want to feel like I wanted to just sit down and cry. That was
Yes.
amazing.
That's the goal with that
Oh,
song. It's super sad. Like
it
I
is.
but that's what I'm just like, I remember writing this. I was having a big existential crisis and I was just like, what am I doing here? Like on this planet. And then it all happened.
Well, it was worth it. That was really, really beautiful. I cannot wait to hear that. Are you planning for it to be just a piano track, or are you planning some production around it as well?
Well, that song is actually completely finished.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is. And it's got some stuff, certainly, although it is mainly piano and voice.
Mm.
But the harmonies, I mean, that
Mm.
did not do... I do not have multiple voices at once, but like the harmonies like go off a lot of the song. So yeah,
That sounds like it's going to be so lovely to listen to.
I'm so glad you made me do this.
See, it's all good. I also just realized that you have like 8 million questions. Do you want to rattle through some of them before we finish?
Yeah, sure.
There's so many. Let's have a look. See. Oh, interesting. What does this one say? Who is your biggest musical influence?
Oh, this is a tough one. I don't really know. I have so many artists that I love to listen to. My main one being Ariana Grande, of course. But am I influenced by her? Not really. This kind of goes back to what I was saying about melodies. How like my most important part of music is the melody. And so yes, I have been inspired by some of Ariana's melodies, and I'm inspired by, I mean, I love Panic at the Disco. I'm inspired by a lot of their melodies. But if I had to say like an artist who I'm like, I don't know, it's such a tough question. A lot of people tell me I sound like Kate Bush, and
Okay, yeah.
Kate Bush. So maybe subconsciously, but never consciously am I like, oh yeah, this person is like my... It's really hard to find someone that I can be like, yeah, this is what music sounds like.
That's good. It's a good thing to think. You know, it's totally unique. That's why it sounds so beautiful. Oh, I'm not over that song. Never gonna be over it. Gigs.
Oh.
Any plans?
None. So, as you may have gathered, I don't like to perform. I wish that I was a gigger or like someone who could do that, but oh my God, the anxiety has never been worth it for me. And it's really tough because it's like, what am I building myself into here? Like, what do I want to become? And at the end of the day, I want to become a songwriter. So gigging isn't actually oh, I must do this. But right now, while I'm doing this artist thing, it kind of comes as part of the job description. I'm hoping that I can just like fly under the radar though with gigs. I know that it's good for everything. I'm aware, but and maybe I will. You know, maybe it will all change and I'll do gigs eventually. But for now, there are no plans to do any.
Well, you just did one.
Oh, true.
And last one I have here. Oh, also, I just keeps on like popping up some random ones from earlier. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's if there's anything else that I haven't covered that you want to shout about, or you know, tell people where they can find you, how they can contact you and listen to you, have a singing lesson, get a singogram, all of that jazz.
Oh my God, get a singogram. Yeah, so I mean, I have a website that's kittyrichardson.com. Makes sense. And obviously my YouTube, which is Scarlet Masquerade, Scarlet with a C and 2 T's, Masquerade, one word. Same as here. And yeah, I mean, I'm very active on here. When I say very active, I don't mean to your sons, but I'm on here a lot. Maybe just like, I don't know, not doing anything. And yeah, I mean, singograms, that's a whole thing. You can find what the whole singogram thing is about on my website, but basically it's just if you want a personalized song written for someone that you love to tell them something, whether it's a birthday or some sort of celebration, I will write them a personalized little song.
Lovely.
And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been lovely to finally
I
chat to you
know,
after so long.
I know.
And I'm just so glad that you came on and like we can share your music and show what, how much hard work you've been putting into it, because it's really, really good. And I cannot wait for that song to come out. I've been listening to it on repeat, crying to myself.
That is the world. Honestly, I'm so thankful for you asking me to be on it, and also like kind of being like, yeah, perform a song.
Because it ended well. It didn't go
Exactly.
badly. It was perfect.
Yeah, I kind of blacked out for 3 minutes, but yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Yes, everyone go follow Kitty, go follow her musical journey, and we'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you in the flesh very soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. This has been so fun.
All right, I'll see you later, Kitty.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. Oh, that was so nice, wasn't it? I'm so glad she sang. So glad she sang, because she has such a haunting voice, and that song is just delicious. All right, thanks for coming along. I've got another cool independent artist next Wednesday, I believe. I'll be posting about it next week. I also, in my story, I've got, if you want to suggest a song for this Sunday, for Soothing Sundays, please do. Got something that we're recording this weekend, which I'm very excited to tell you about soon. But yeah, thanks for coming along and supporting independent artists and making our day a little bit better. I'll see you soon.